Huh, I've returned. I apologize. I was quickly getting some water. But here we go. We are in game number 1 of our first semifinals of the night, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the South Korean Protoss. He is blue, representing himself. And an interesting clan. It's the big boy himself. It is PartinG. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the American Protoss, the American Hope. He is, of course, representing Team Alpha X. It is Astrea. Oh boy, oh boy. Bets have been placed. Predictions have been thrown out. How it works. Here we go. Who's gonna take this series? It's a best of 5 as a reminder, so it could go either way. Oh my god, PartinG! What do you have in store for us here with this proxy pylon? So this is Oxide, and I bring this up whenever we have a PvP on Oxide. This is the map where most commonly we see Protoss players go for this. Go for the low ground wall and go for a very fast nexus. PartinG, very interesting opener. He's still stuck with the high ground wall, with the wall on the ramp. Of course, it does make it easier to defend against Glaive Adepts, and it does mean that your natural is typically a little bit later, but fun fact, PartinG's natural is actually faster than Astrea's. As Astrea, yeah, he prioritized his Cybercore, and I believe PartinG threw down his Nexus after the gateway. Interesting opener here by PartinG, much faster. The probe did go down, so this pylon is just chilling here. It's just a pylon, it's just thrown out there because why not? Also, thank you so much, Rajendra? Raj, thank you so much for the sub, for the Twitch Prime. Gracias, gracias. I hope you enjoy the emotes in the chat. Hope you enjoy our sub channel, and of course, you do get access to replay packs as well, if you so wish. And thank you for the support. We appreciate it here. We appreciate it. Boy, and we'll see where the series takes us. Again, so far, similar openers. Again, PartinG a little bit more economic. As we can see, the worker counts are pretty similar between the two regardless. And really, right now, I'm just kind of waiting to see what tech gets thrown down. Once again, oh, PartinG. Astrea does throw down the pylon across the map. PartinG is warping it offensively, a couple of adepts. And this is part of the weakness of this low ground wall, is that it can be a little bit difficult to shade in. Is this a full wall? Oh my god, it is. Oh my god, PartinG finding out the hard way. We have a full wall here. Wow, that's one way to defend against Glaive Adepts. PartinG was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. My god. Okay, well these adepts are gonna do nothing. Wow. Just wow. Nicely done here by Astrea. We'll see if he commits to shade. He probably shouldn't. But he does. And he will lose a couple of adepts. Interesting. Meanwhile, he was able to find the pylon of Astrea, so Astrea will have a hard time doing the same to PartinG, you know. No way to reinforce across the map. And now we have our techs of choice. PartinG going for a Twilight Council and a Forge, so he will most likely be moving towards Blink Stalkers and +1. I mean, it's PartinG we're talking about. He is all about those Blink Stalkers. As we can see, Blink is on the way, being chronoed out. Meanwhile, what does Astrea have in store for us? He has to be careful not to focus down his building yet. The Adepts is still a threat. Keeping that building on very low health until the opportune moment. And yeah, there we go. Astrea himself also going for Blink and +1. So we have very similar tech paths for both of these players. Unfortunately, PartinG hasn't seen this pylon yet, so it's still a bit of a threat. Astrea has to be careful. As they both go for their expansions. Because of this pylon, PartinG actually sees the timing on the third base, which is funny to me. There we go. Astrea does show up, will eventually clean up this pylon. And PartinG shouldn't be too far behind on his own third. There we go. As it does get thrown down. And we're just gonna chill for a while here. We're gonna wait for these upgrades to really kick in. I say chill, but the War Prism is about to finish up for PartinG, and that is the first indicator that one of these Protoss players wants to be aggressive, wants to reinforce across the map, wants to potentially blink into the main base. Speaking of blinking into the main, ooh, we have a 4-Stalker hit squad diving into the main base of PartinG. It does force him to react. Oh my god, a lot of probes are going to be going down here in the main. PartinG, though, he splits up his army quite nicely. The majority of the army is still hitting that third base. He only sent a handful to defend. And Astrea, yo, he recalls. He doesn't lose a single Stalker, but his army is not in position. Oh, the shield battery does go down. Astrea is cut off from his third base. We'll see if PartinG tries to go head-to-head with the main army, or if he goes for the secure kill on the third. Right now, it looks like he wants to fight the army. Again, he has a War Prism. He can continue to reinforce across the map. And behind this, you know, he is still pumping out probes as well. He's getting ready for that third base. Right now, he just wants to kill the third of Astrea. And he'll be well ahead if he does so. It looks like that base will go down. Oh my god, Astrea pulling some boys. I don't know if this is the right move here. The Immortal does show up, and the Immortal is going to be dishing out a lot of damage here in the back line. Oh my god, but 1 or 2 more volleys and this base will fall. And even without that, PartinG, he's winning the fight. He's trying to focus down the Immortal. The Immortal almost goes down. The Immortal will go down. Oh god, and it's so scrappy. A couple more reinforcements are coming in here. PartinG may have too much. Again, that base is so low. I kind of want him to just forget about the Stalkers and just focus it down. But regardless, PartinG, he will win the fight anyway. Oh my god. Just the control, the blinks. The reinforcements, PartinG just has too much. And it looks like he'll be able to clean up this Zealot and keep going forward and just take out the base. Astrea, he gives it up. Or does he? Pulls more boys. Oh, I don't know about this one, mate. I mean, with the help of this Immortal, he should be able to defend, and I'm honestly surprised the third base will survive. PartinG, a little bit too greedy there. Again, there were definitely moments where he could have focused down the Nexus, but he decided to try and go for the kill instead. And to be fair, PartinG traded well there, but Astrea's ahead in workers. He's got the third. It's so important that Astrea kept this third alive. Ay. And now we have, they kind of bounce off each other. Astrea, he's got his own War Prism on the way, so he can be aggressive. Astrea has the Immortal lead with 2, as opposed to the 0 of PartinG. PartinG is trying to transition though. Again, he's looking to completely ignore the Immortals and just go straight into Charged Archon, I imagine. Archons for now, sorry, Charged for now. There we go. Templar Archives gets thrown down, so he does want to transition into that army. But before that happens, Astrea will have like a moment here where he could do something with these Immortals. It looks like he doesn't want to. His main army is left at home. Meanwhile, the War Prism is looking to harass across the map. The War Prisms actually miss each other. Pretty interesting. And Astrea is going for the 4th. Oh. Thanks, pig need privacy. What? Huh? El Chancho? El Chancho needs privacy? Pig, please. Alright, here we go. So in the end, I believe, did Astrea go back home with his War Prism? No. Okay, I was a little bit concerned as to why it was so delayed, but the War Prism is diving into the main base of PartinG. There's nothing here to defend. Oof, ay. Meanwhile, the main armies, they are clashing here. They do meet each other at the 4th base of Astrea. We do have a couple of Zealots warping in here for PartinG. We still don't have any reinforcements for Astrea. Meanwhile, oh, the Zealots are stuck! Oh my god, so many Zealots of PartinG. They're just not doing anything right now in this fight. And now finally they do break through the front line of Astrea, getting on top of those Immortals and those Stalkers. But there's the shield batteries, there's overcharge. I really don't think PartinG can break through this. He does take down one of the Immortals though. Another 2 are going to go down, but there are just so many Stalkers here for Astrea. And Astrea will hold beautifully, not just hold, but also those Zealots, they cleared out the entire mineral line. GG gets called, and PartinG takes game number 1. Sorry, Astrea takes game number 1. I saw blue and I was like, blue, that's PartinG, right? I apologize. Astrea does take the game. PartinG, he was very committed with his initial attack, as we saw at the third base of Astrea. And if PartinG killed that third, he would have been well ahead. But he chose not to. He made the decision not to focus on the Nexus and to try to fight the army instead. And to be fair, fight the army, kill the army, and you win the game, right? Like he could have ended it then and there. But he miscalculated a little bit. Astrea defended well enough, and from there, Astrea had a lead, and we saw what happened. You know, he was the first person to expand and take that fourth. He had plenty to harass across the map and defend. That was the worst place to attack for PartinG. We saw all those zealots doing nothing for PartinG for like 30 seconds. They were just stuck on each other in a choke point. That was the worst fight that PartinG could have taken. And Astrea, he leads the series. He could go on to the finals, despite what the predictions might say, what chat might say. Alright, here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide ALE, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing himself. He is the big boy. He is PartinG. Down in this series. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide ALE, we have the American Protoss. He is red, representing Team Alpha X, leading this series 1-0. He just needs 2 more. It is Astrea. GG. Again, that was pretty close though. We saw PartinG with that killer instinct, and he almost broke through Astrea. He almost did it. Can he do it again on Romanticide? Maybe. I think it's going to be harder to pull off on Romanticide, to be honest. Romanticide is a very large map. It's easier to defend on Romanticide due to the ramp, due to the way that the natural and the third base is situated. It's going to be difficult, but we'll see, as Astrea is being a little bit cheeky here. Sneaking across the map with his probe. PartinG a little bit more upfront with his probe scout. And we'll see what Astrea has in store for us here. Relatively close. This shouldn't be a Twilight Council. This shouldn't be a Dark Shrine. We have the probe of PartinG going up into the main. He will scout, hey, where is that pylon? There should be a second pylon here, and it's not here. So PartinG knows that something's out on the map. Meanwhile, PartinG, I feel like this probe isn't scouting. It's looking to throw down his own proxy. That's the vibes I'm getting from this probe anyway. Yep, there we go. So we're going to have a proxy versus a proxy. And this is a gateway here from Astrea. I was about to hypothesize maybe a Stargate, but no, it is a gateway, so Astrea wants to be aggressive with gateway units. Meanwhile, PartinG, what does he have in store for us here? There it is. PartinG is the one going for a Stargate. Oh my. So this is going to be a bit wonky. I feel like Astrea wants to be aggressive with Stalkers. But if he leaves his natural base exposed, then he will lose everything to an Oracle. Everything, especially if he goes across the map with his Stalkers, which he wants to. He wants to be aggressive right now. So I'm worried for Astrea. I'm very worried. To be fair, we could end up in a pseudo base trade scenario where this Oracle deals like game-ending damage and kills like 12 workers. But Astrea goes across the map and kills the Adepts because Adepts trade awfully against Stalkers, and then Astrea breaks into the main. And then Astrea wins? Right? Like, Oracles aren't going to do anything against Stalkers. So, yeah, we're going to end up in a really interesting scenario. Ooh, Astrea getting a Sentry. Interesting. Stalkers are going across the map. Warp gate is done for Astrea. He can continue to warp in. And again, what is there at home to defend? Adepts. Adepts aren't going to do anything. We don't... Okay, we do have 2 shield batteries on the way, though. Shield batteries are big. Shield batteries are key here for PartinG to defend. And here comes the Oracle. Forces a recall. Damage is being done. Probes are going down. And if Astrea doesn't kill this, he has to keep Stalkers at home. Otherwise, this Oracle can just dive back in. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, I love this. Astrea didn't send everything across the map to defend. He did keep some here to try and hit the bases of PartinG. Oh, but PartinG wants to fight. There's only 4 Stalkers. He shades in. Oh, meanwhile, a couple more units coming here to defend. The sentry does show up. Meanwhile, another Oracle dives in. There are 2 Stalkers to defend, though. Okay, nice defense by Astrea so far. And Astrea definitely has an army advantage here. Oh, nice force field. Picks off 1 Stalker for free. Beautifully done. At the same time, these 2 Oracles are going to meet up. They're going to try and dive in and one-shot probes. Oh my god, another Stalker goes down. Oh my god, PartinG, please! Oh my god, PartinG, he's falling apart. He's fighting outside of range of the shield batteries. And loses another Stalker. Astrea trading beautifully. Meanwhile, PartinG dives in with both of his Oracles. He needs to deal some damage. 2 probes is not enough, mates. Oh, and the Nexus will fall. We have an Immortal on the way for PartinG, but it only just started. It's still a long way away. Astrea, mate, you can probably force your way up here. What is there? 3 Stalkers and an Adept? That's nothing, mate. Go for it. Go for the kill. Huh. Go, puppy, go. Meanwhile, we do still have Stalkers here to defend for Astrea. It looks like one of the Oracles did die. And I understand what Astrea is doing. Astrea, he's like, yo, I killed the Nexus. That's all I have to do. I don't have to force my way up the ramp. I'm still winning this game. It's admirable. He could have ended the game sooner if he had gone in for the kill, but he's playing it safe instead. And to be fair, he's still ahead. Like, he hasn't thrown by any means. And now PartinG is stuck on 1 base. But this is still a little bit scary because this is PartinG on 1 base. Now he has an Immortal. He's working on a War Prism. Like, he will have a relatively scary army. And Astrea has to respect this now. Like, with an Immortal. And Astrea, he leaves. Well done. He does respect it. He's like, you know what? I've done what I've came here to do. I'm not going to overstay my welcome. I'm not going to overextend. I'm going to go back home and defend with my shield batteries. And, ooh, almost pick up an Oracle. Almost. Meanwhile, in the chat, is there ever Skytoss versus Skytoss? Yes, yes. Phoenix versus Phoenix is a thing. It can become a thing. It can be nonsense, right? Where it's just Mass Phoenix versus Mass Phoenix. It doesn't happen too often anymore. It used to be a lot more common in Heart of the Swarm. Nowadays, in Legacy of the Void, in current meta, we see it every now and then, but it is a lot more rare. Especially because, like, nowadays it is a lot more common to go like Blinkstalker, like into Disruptors and Chargelot Archon. Like the army compositions nowadays, or the other army compositions, are a lot more popular nowadays. But here we go. PartinG, he is trying to establish his natural base. Trying. And being left behind. He's down 10 workers. He's down a base. He is up in tech, I guess, with the Robo. Robo is just on the way for Astrea. And PartinG is desperate. He is desperate right now. And what I mean by that is that PartinG is going for a Dark Shrine. A very hidden Dark Shrine. Oh boy. So he's going for a Hail Mary play, right? Pray that my opponent doesn't have detection. Speaking of detection, we have an observer coming up. So there will be detection. It's mobile though. It may not be where it needs to be when the DTs show up, but a recall is always available. Ooh, the War Prism gets found. And We'll see if this works. Again, this main army for PartinG is still very strong. He has a War Prism to reinforce. He's going to have DTs to warp in. Overcharge will be available, and it looks like the first Immortal will be available as well for Astrea. So Astrea should have enough to defend, especially with Force Fields. Blink is done for PartinG though, so we could see some fancy micro. As all this is happening, the 4 Void Ray hit squad, they're going across the map. They're going to find some damage. They can do whatever they want in the main base. There's nothing here to defend. Oh no. Are we going to see a recall, or is PartinG going to go all in? He recalls! Oh, that's kind of disastrous for PartinG. Wanted to be aggressive. He was getting ready to commit to a big attack. He's on 2 bases for Christ's sake. Like he was not intending to expand, and now he may have to. At the same time, War Prism does get into main base. DTs get dropped in. They get scouted. Where's the observer? Where's the observer? It's not here. Oh god, the observer was across the map. It does come home. Thankfully though, Astrea doesn't lose too many workers. He loses 1 probe, 2 probes, 3 probes, 4 probes. Oh god, the damage. But the DTs will eventually be cleaned up. The observer is slowly catching up with the army. PartinG did deal damage though. He shouldn't be too upset about that. Oof. As Astrea does defend against both adepts at the same time, Void Rays come in. Oh, but Blink is done, and one of the Void Rays will get picked off. Oof. Kind of rough there for Astrea. PartinG, he's dragging himself back into this. You know, 3rd base is on the way. He's still behind, but that gap between the 2 players is slowly closing. Slowly, though. There's still a window here for Astrea. He is going to have a 2nd Immortal. I kind of want him to have a War Prism. He's getting cannons to defend, which is important. He needs a couple cannons at his 3rd, though, which is a little bit worrisome. But we'll see. We'll see how Astrea does here, because there we go. He sees the timing on the 3rd base. He is going for the kill right now. He does not have a War Prism, but the War Prism is on the way, so he will be able to reinforce soon. He will also be able to meet up with these Void Rays, and that will affect the battle. It's honestly possible that Astrea doesn't even need the Void Rays to win this, but you know what? Why not? Just bring them all in. All army hockey. Let's go. We have an observer. Mate, DTs are going to do nothing here. The Immortal is isolated. Oh, it almost goes down. Just barely saved by the War Prism. But the Immortals of Astrea and the Stalkers are here. He may not have Blink. No, he does have Blink. Never mind, he does. GG gets called. Astrea takes game 2. Are we going to see a 3-0? Is that really happening right now? My god. GG, well played. Astrea is leading the series. Are we going to see a reverse sweep? To be fair, PartinG, he totally could do it. His mental is not easy to break. Like he's got plenty years of experience under his belt. I'm sure he's feeling fine right now, but it's not about his feelings. It's about his skill. And right now, Astrea has plenty of it. I hope Skater loses his channel points. Who bet on who? Let's have a look at those predictions. Ooh. For sure is an Andy man on Astrea. Hey, mate, someone's about to make some channel points. We'll see though, we'll see. Again, what I was alluding to is that PartinG could go for a reverse sweep. Like it's well within his the realm of possibility. But Astrea is just looking so good right now. Just so good, just so goddamn good. Especially game 2. Game 1 was pretty shaky. I think game 1 PartinG could have won. It was more on his decision making, right? On allowing Astrea to get away with that 3rd base. Like again, that was PartinG's choice. Game 2 was a little bit different though. It's very well executed by Astrea. And now, we are diving into game 3, potentially the final game of this series. Reverse sweep, nah. Mein Gott. Let's see if PartinG can bring it back. Here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade ALE. We have our South Korean Protoss player. A player who needs a win right now. Desperately. This man has no team. He's teamless. He's not on a salary. Mate, he's out there living in Korea trying to go full-time StarCraft. He wants to at least make it to the finals. Can he make it there? We have the big boy himself. It is PartinG. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Lightshade ALE, we have the NA Hope himself, the Prince of North America, arguably the king. We have the Red Protoss representing Alpha X. It is Astrea. PartinG, has his time come? Is he getting too old? Is he no longer a big boy? Is he an old boy? That's the question. Because this young boy here, Astrea, is looking so good right now. He's sending out a probe, looking to, I imagine, throw down a proxy pylon. Because why the hell not? We are on Lightshade. We see plenty of proxies on this map. Ooh, this is the obvious location. PartinG going for a bit of a scout. Or a proxy himself, I should say. Again, this location here and this location here, very common for proxies. PartinG throws down his pylon. Meanwhile, Astrea, more towards the south. So I'll be shocked if PartinG goes for a proxy robo. This shouldn't be a robo. Stargate, right? Gateway. True. There were 2 gateways thrown down at home. Should have pointed that out. PartinG going for 3 gates. Aggression here. Gonna be aggressive with his gateway units. Meanwhile, Astrea going for a Stargate. We're having a little bit of a role reversal here of game 2 on Romantic side. We saw we saw PartinG go for a proxy Stargate, and sure, he could deal some economic damage with the oracles, but overall he was overwhelmed by the stalkers of Astrea. Now, I think we're gonna see the opposite, where Astrea is going for the proxy Stargate, and because PartinG is going to go heavy on stalkers, he's going to be incredibly aggressive, and Astrea may struggle to defend at home. And it's going to be on his Oracle to deal a lot of damage. No, never mind. I was about to praise Astrea because he saw the 2 gate opening. So going for an Oracle is so risky, so I kind of liked the Void Ray, but then he switched back to Oracle, so a little bit indecisive there, but he has settled on the Oracle. And there's already a shield battery on the way. 1 Oracle is not going to be enough, and PartinG, he's getting ready to go out across the map with his Stalkers. He already has 5. What does Astrea have to defend? A shield battery? A shield battery? A shield battery, 2 stalkers, 2 gateways. He can defend his ramp. I don't think he can defend his natural though. This natural is going to be difficult to hold on to. Oh boy. Here we go. Stalkers are here. Mass amount of stalkers. Gonna force a cancel. PartinG doesn't care about the natural. He goes up the ramp. Ooh, nice force field. Necessary force field here for Astrea. But is that force field going to be enough? We have another sentry being warped in. We need another force field. Come on, come on. Up, up. Ooh, doesn't waste it. Oh, no, goes for it anyway. Astrea, solid micro, he holds onto his base. Meanwhile, Oracle did go across the map, did get 5 worker kills, but it looks like Astrea will be forced to cancel his natural. Would you see a cancel? PartinG has to be very careful about pushing up that ramp. Remember, he does not blink. Force fields are key here. So far, Astrea, beautiful defense. And his Oracle is still alive. And now we have a Void Ray. Void Ray, oh, it's gonna do so well. Ideally, it draws the attention of these Stalkers, and then the Oracle can dive in. Meanwhile, Astrea, he just, you know, dips his toe in the water a little bit, kind of testing the waters, making sure there's no deadly sharks there. There are, though, so he does dip out. And there we go, Oracle dives in. So the Void Ray does distract the Stalkers, the Oracle dives in, but Overcharge is used to keep everything alive. Nice back and forth so far. Both players on one base, no one has expanded yet. But if PartinG does expand, Astrea should... Oh, never mind! The Void Ray! Ah, suck it in! It's got 1 HP! I was about to say should get scouted, and it looks like it will. The Oracle does see the natural. And what does Astrea do from here is my question. It's gonna take a lot to break into his own natural base, to break out of his main. He does have Blink on the way. PartinG's is faster. Nexus is faster. The proxy's been found. This is not looking good for Astrea. Like, look how many minerals he's backing up right now. He just can't spend his money. There we go. A couple more warpins of Stalkers. He's gonna try and force his way down. Let's go. He does have the Stalker advantage. Ooh, nice force fields. Oh. He does take out 2 Stalkers. And Astrea will expand. Very late, but at least he has it. Now he has to be careful. Blink is about to finish up for PartinG. PartinG will have map control right now. Astrea has to be so careful with how he maneuvers his army. Meanwhile, thank you so much, Noi 000 for the 100 bits. Gracias. We appreciate it here, definitely. And meanwhile, honestly, I'm pretty impressed that Astrea has kept this Void Ray alive. Very impressed. It's still here, still plenty of value to be had. Speaking of value, the Oracle comes back home, throws down a stasis just in case PartinG decides to be aggressive here. Astrea making sure he defends. Oh my god, look at that, even at the blink location. Oh, Astrea is ready. Ready for everything, but nothing is coming, is the thing. PartinG, even though he got blink early on, he is chilling at home, he's macroing up, he's focusing on his pro production. We do see a Forge on the way, so he's most likely going to wait for +1 to finish up for his Stalker attack. So Astrea has plenty of time, and he scouts, and he sees the Forge, so he knows he has time. Very important. And what does Astrea do with this information? Does he throw down his own Forge? Does he start Immortals? Does he start a War Prism? Does he decide to be aggressive? At the moment, he's just kind of chilling at home. He hasn't really left his base in a while. There we go. Finally, he's moving out. Ooh, will he expand and take a 3rd? There are a lot of options here for Astrea, and I like this one. He's going for an Immortal. Ooh, and PartinG goes for a 3rd base. I did not expect that. And it gets scouted, so Astrea goes for his own 3rd. Okay, we're getting into the mid game. We have survived the early game. It was chaotic. There was a lot going on. Things were scary. I was scared. But yeah, we're getting into the mid game. I keep saying that because I just want to assure myself that Astrea is going to expand. I keep wanting to believe, but so far he has not, and he's making a Warp Prism. Yo, was he faking it? No, it wasn't a fake, right? You've got the minerals, Astrea. Go for it. Right? No, he's not going for it. Yo, he's going for the all-in, mate. It's happening. The War Prism's coming across the map. He's committed. And here we go. PartinG, was he too greedy? Was he feeling too safe? Because here comes Astrea with his Immortal, with his massive army advantage here. Ooh, Overcharge is being used though. PartinG is able to hold on for now. Astrea does throw down his 3rd, but again, it's late. He needs to do something with this army. And yo, is he gonna try and bait PartinG to blink forward? Maybe. There's a stasis. PartinG sees. Overcharge ran out. Here comes Astrea once again trying to force his way in. Both players do have blinks. So far the micro has been good. Ooh, but a sentry does get picked off. Only one sentry left. 0 sentries left for PartinG. Only blink stalkers. Oh my god, and I feel like Astrea, he can break through just barely. But the longer he waits, the more warp-ins, the more shield batteries. 2 more shield batteries are on the way. PartinG is just fortifying his position. Stasis gets baited. Astrea, he's looking like he wants to back off. He's like, you know what, I've done what I needed to do. I don't think I can break you. I think maybe he could have, but not with +1 finishing up. PartinG has the upgrade advantage. Now PartinG has his own immortal, so I think it's a wise choice for Astrea to back off. And you know, he was able to expand behind this. He was able to probe up behind this a little bit as well. He's still far behind in terms of the worker count, which is something that I am concerned about, but he was able to put PartinG on notice a little bit. And now PartinG, it's his turn to be aggressive. He's waiting for his own War Prism, so a little bit of time is going to pass. He does have an upgrade advantage. He has +1. Meanwhile, does Astrea even have a Forge? No Forge. Bold move, Astrea. Bold move. Going upgradeless. Oh wait, no, there's the Forge. Finally, I missed it completely. +1 is on the way. I apologize. Look, I haven't had breakfast. Okay, I'm actually hungry. Oh boy. And PartinG, he's just getting more and more ahead. You know, he's just taking another base, taking a 4th base. Astrea may just take his own, and we'll see where the tech switch happens. What I mean by that is PartinG, he's trying to go for Charge of Archon. I kind of want to see Astrea skip a couple of things and go straight into Disruptors. Like, that would be a very good way to get back into this. I say get back into this. The armies are still pretty similar, but again, like, just to try and, like, compensate for the lack of upgrades. I feel like Disruptors would be really good. At the same time, you could argue that PartinG, he's not going to get caught out by Disruptors. Like, he has Blink Stalkers. Like, that's kind of his iconic unit, in a way. Here we go. PartinG, he's posturing outside the base. Ooh. Very aggressive blink forward there by Astrea. Astrea, he does not have any of his own shield batteries. They are just getting set up. At the same time, Void Ray being a little bit annoying. Looks like the shield batteries will finish. Overcharge will also be available. We have 4 Immortals for Astrea. A mass amount of Immortals here. Ooh, the Immortals of PartinG are not fighting. Oh, God. PartinG slipping up a little bit there. Now the force fields are looking good. We see an aggressive blink here for PartinG. The Immortals of Astrea just shelling away. But again, a lot of Zealots here to just buffer for PartinG. And now 3 Immortals immediately go focused down. Oh my god, the 4th just barely kept alive with Overcharge. Oh my god, but in the end it does go down. The 5th Immortal gets surrounded by Zealots. PartinG just dominating this fight. Takes down every single high-tech unit. The boys are forced to be pulled. And PartinG, it looks like with this wave of Stalkers, he may just barely have enough. The Immortal of PartinG will go down, but he just has so many Stalkers, and he has +1. Well, to be fair, we're tied up. I should say he has +2. PartinG with the upgrade advantage, he's able to just take this fight, take down all the entire army of Astrea. GG gets called. And PartinG fights back. You thought this was going to be a 3-0? Mate, it could have been. I do think Astrea had a chance to maybe end the game at PartinG's 3rd base when Astrea was being aggressive, but he wasn't feeling it. He wasn't feeling it. It was a very awkward position to push in. And I thought maybe Astrea could defend with 5 Immortals, right? But, mate, those Zealots, the positioning of those Zealots and Astrea exposing his Immortals like that, PartinG was able to take full advantage of the situation. Take the fight. GG, well played. Isn't it the afternoon in Australia? It is. It is about to be 2 p.m. in Australia. We started the cast at 9 a.m. this morning. It's 2 p.m. and we still haven't had breakfast, mate. But, you know, we'll have plenty of time to eat after the tournament. The plan is to have breakfast and then pass out. And then wake up in time for DreamHack EU. That is the plan. Upgraded advantage for PartinG. Let's go. Yeah, yeah. PartinG was able to hold on to that for the entire game. And we are getting ready to dive into game number 4. So PartinG, he has started the comeback. Can he continue with it? Can he go on? Can he take this to the ace match? It's possible. Also, I should probably update the overlay. I just realized I've been solo casting for a little bit now, so I should probably remove milk. There we go. Two is better than one. It is. It is. I do think that if Astrea had a little bit of better army control, I think he would have been able to defend. Again, he lost a lot of immortals there early on. He had so much invested in those immortals, and yeah, that's the risk you play when you use them, right? Whenever you blink back with stalkers, those immortals, they get ever closer to the front line. And I didn't get to see, but I guess Astrea didn't have a War Prism. Ideally, you have a War Prism in that scenario to help micro and keep your immortals alive. It's the goal. But here we go. We are diving in to game number 4 in this best of 5 series, and spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the big boy himself putting a point on the board. Can he take it to the ace match? It is PartinG. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the American Protoss. He's red. He is so close to advancing on to the grand finals. He just needs one more. Uno más. And he makes it. He's representing Alpha X. It is Astrea. Oh, show us the boop. Show us the boop. Huh. Oh, they just go right past each other. Mein Gott. The moment Astrea went home, it was over. In a way, I do think that obviously Astrea was deterred by Overcharge first, which made sense, but I do think Astrea could have been a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more assertive there. So it was a bit of a shame. To be fair, regardless, it would have been a risk. It would have been still very difficult to break PartinG there at his third base, but it was kind of then or never in a way. But here we go. Now we are in game number 4. So far, very standard. I think for the first time this series, we don't have a proxy pylon. They're just checking each other. As standard as they can get. I guess it kind of makes sense for Astrea here in game 4. He did put himself behind a little bit with the Stargate opening last game. So he doesn't want to leave anything to chance. He wants to play a straight up game and take down PartinG. Meanwhile, PartinG himself, you know, he has started the comeback. He's like, you know what, now I need to calm down and I need to do my thing because I know how much of an amazing player I am. That's probably what PartinG is saying to himself. Unironically. He'd probably say it in a different way. Probably use different words, but yeah. We'll see how this plays out. I'm taking all the points. It's possible, mate. Skater, it's possible. Meanwhile, as Darking is asking in the chat, hey, where is Milk? So for the past month, maybe 2 months, in the second semester of the year, Milk has changed his schedule, so he is no longer available to cast the entirety of ESL Americas with me, only the first half. It's a bit of a shame, but you know, his schedule did change, so ideally in future months, they have like afternoon classes, or sorry, morning classes again, and then maybe he can join me, as he is an assistant lecturer. A lecturer in programming, by the way, as he is a programmer, you know. That is what he does as his day job. He has 2 jobs, fun fact. He's a lecturer, and he also works for a Shopify client. But yeah, enough about that. Don't want to dox my boy. He also lives in... Just give out his address. But here we go. The game is slowly getting underway. PartinG just macroing up. You know, he's got a Twilight Council on the way. He's got his Forge on the way, working on all of his upgrades. Meanwhile, Astrea is going for no such thing. He has a proxy pylon out on the map. He has 3 gateways, looking to be ultra aggressive without any upgrades. And this is a pretty big commitment. He's got to do a lot of damage here to make up for the fact that he doesn't have Blink or +1 on the way. So here we go. We already have a shield battery. We have 2 shield batteries behind this. We're going to have overcharge as well. Oh my god, it's going to be really difficult here for Astrea to break this. It's not going to be impossible, but it is going to be difficult. It's going to be all about those force fields. If Astrea is able to catch his army outside the natural and like block him in, then maybe, but never mind. PartinG does get into his natural. He does have the support of his shield batteries. Oh, the gateway is under threats. Looks like the gateway will fall. Nice force field. There are enough stalkers to one-shot. Oh my god, one-shotting every single one of these stalkers of PartinG. PartinG only has 1 stalker left. He pulls the boys, but it's not going to be enough. Yo, if this Stargate goes down, how many gateways do we have? We have 2 gateways. Okay, 2 more stalkers are warped in. The boys are still here, by the way. They're dealing a lot of damage, to be honest. Oh my god, but the stalkers are still getting one-shot. Ah! Oh my god, Astrea, he accidentally clicked on the Nexus there, a little bit of mismicro, but in the end, he will catch every single one of these stalkers. And now, the boys, they're vulnerable. This could be it. Astrea's doing it. We have a couple more stalkers being warped in. Oh my god, PartinG, he tries to evacuate the natural base. The natural is forfeits. But you know what? Blink is done. +1 is on the way. Meanwhile, oh my god, Blink's just barely in time. But what's scary? The Cybercore. If the Cybercore falls, no more stalkers for PartinG. And there we go. The Cybercore will go down. But PartinG, he has a decent amount of stalkers now. He has 5, 6 stalkers. Maybe an immortal on the way. No, I thought I saw a robo. Never mind. Oh god, the boys are being pulled. I feel like Astrea, all he has to do is kill the natural. That's all he has to do. If he kills the natural, that's it. He doesn't have to force it. He can. GG gets called. Doesn't even need to. Astrea didn't 3-0, but close enough. With the 3-1, moves on to the grand finals. Wow. GG, well played. Congratulations, Astrea. One of the best players in North America. Top 2, arguably top 1. He takes down PartinG, and he is waiting for his opponent. Who's it going to be? Solar or Big Gabe? A Terran or a Zerg?